Thank you, friends. Much love and greetings to you all. Let us send out healing energy to anybody in the world who needs it, and to any of you in need of healing. To Tony, to Elmo, to Linda, to Lindsay, to little Iney. Me Shabera Avotenu Makor Havraha Limotenu. May the source of strength who blessed the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing. The renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. Mishaberach, let us all have our spirits renewed. Do not forget, this week was a week of love, with a day dedicated to love, the 15th of Av. Now, the day does not matter as much as simply the meaning, celebrating love in your life, in your heart, in your soul, in your spirit. Take a little bit of every day and make each day a festival of love day. Now, no topic will have been written about more, nor caused as many problems, and none will have as many songs be their inspiration. The Beatles put it best, and were so right when they said, all you need is love, love, love is all you need. And for Bob Dylan and Joan Baez, love is just a 4-letter word. A decade later, Macca, Sir Paul McCartney reminded us, for all we know, our love will grow. That's what the man said. So won't you listen to what the man said? And it is important to listen as we continue with the book of words, the book of discourses, as Moses continues his summary and farewell address this week as we enjoy Va'et Hanan, and I pleaded, he pleads with God, but his words fall on deaf ears. This week, we get the repeat of the Decalogue with noticeable changes, my friends, but as I've said, that is the norm in this book. And the most striking difference is probably contained in the 4th commandment, the one regarding the Sabbath, but you may not fully catch it. So please do read it. Notice what you can. Hey, you can email me the changes you spot if you would like. I would love to see what you find. The changes and explanations are fantastic. And notice the projecting of the people to the events in question. As Moses says, the Lord your God sealed the covenant with us at Horeb. Not with our fathers did the Lord seal this covenant, but with us, we who are here today, all of us alive. Face to face did the Lord speak with you on the mountain. And as I told you last time, you will see again and again, the emphasis is us, we, here, today. It is not ancient history, it is current events to the people on the banks of the Jordan. And here's another clue for you all. No, it's not about the walrus. It is the fact none of these people would have been there. None would have actual personal knowledge. But it is spoken to all who hear, and all believe it to be true. It's always interesting, my friends, to see whether people spot these differences or not as they read this book. Because like I say, this book is so different. Hey, most people do not even know what the 10 Commandments are well enough to even recite them, other than don't murder, don't steal, because most do not think that they do those anyhow. But probably the one most overlooked is probably adultery. And that's perhaps the most readily broken of the commandments, except maybe for coveting, because it's the commandment that good people break. The temptation's extraordinary, the potential for hurt is substantial, and the potential for breaking this one, leading to other behavior, especially lying, is tremendous as well. And while there is much talk now of the covenant, there's not a lot of talk about what the covenant is. And so for those of you wondering, it was, I'll be your God, you'll be my people if you follow my law. And so the 10 Commandments are essentially the covenant. All the other commandments are important, but the 10 commandments on the tablet, now they're different. They're the 10 essential laws for how mankind should live, broken down into how to live with spirit and how to live with man. Now that's your main course in life. Everything else are sides. And as you read this parsha, it suggests that the Deuteronomist was familiar with the creation stories that we read in Genesis. And you'll notice Moses invoking some pretty special witnesses. I have called to witness the heavens and the earth. He opens and closes Deuteronomy with it, again echoing the creation story. And right off the bat, he actually puts us in a difficult position. Deuteronomy 4:1. You shall not add to the word that I charge you, and you shall not subtract from it. Well, which word? The prior ones or the subsequent ones? Because these words both add and subtract, and have for centuries in each branch of Judaism. Adds and subtracts more and different things. And because of that difficulty, it's actually been suggested that Mosaic teaching is intended to be limited to the sanction to worship a single God. But that does not really work, because we're enjoined to neither add nor subtract in several instances in this book. And unlike in Exodus, an added threat comes up several times in this book. And the Lord will scatter you among the peoples. Now this suggests the writer was familiar with the Assyrian Babylonian exile, which would mean that Moses wouldn't have written it. See, for whoever was writing, the ultimate catastrophe of exile is assimilation into the local cults, which would have been the fate, one may reasonably assume, of most of those exiled for the 10 northern tribes after the Neo-Assyrian conquest in 721 before the Common Era, and some of those exiled in 586 by the Babylonians. The lost 10 tribes assimilated into various communities. But even while we are reliving some of these incredible events, we also get what is referred to as the Great Commandment in this parsha, and perhaps one of, if not the oldest actual piece of continuing Jewish liturgy, the Shema. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Hear Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. That's a beautiful 6-word statement that has been aptly described as a catechism. And for the first time, instead of being a God to fear, we are told to love God. And how? With all your heart. The heart is the seat of understanding in biblical physiology, but it is also associated with feelings. With all your being. The Hebrew nephesh means life, breath, or essential self. With all your might, with every ounce of your strength. That is how you are to love God. And isn't it interesting that this fantastic little statement, this little prayer begins, hear or listen. Emphasis on listening goes together with the title and theme of this book, words. Friends, the great events of creation, the patriarchs, Exodus, the Sinai, and the wilderness are at an end. What remains now is the words, the story of what happened, and the commandments to be fulfilled. Israel's task now and in its future generations is to listen, to learn the story, and to do the commandments. And like any great piece of work, this has a melody attached to it. We learn so much more easily when we sing things than when we simply try and learn them. I'm sure we all can sing the songs of our youth at the drop of a hat, but cannot recite the things studied. Well, the Torah is like that. It is a 5-volume book that is sung, and it's sung weekly. The prayers are sung. We all learn them that way, which is why almost anyone who's Jewish can recite the Shema. They know the tune, right? And the tune tells them the words, and they know it's 6 words. It's 6, simple words, and they know it in translation too. It's one of the few that people actually do. Now, I of course had learned it its normal way of singing and reciting, but I also learned a fantastic folkish meditative version of it, from Svad, which is a very fantastic city. I know Monty really likes it. Shema Israel Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. Hear, O Israel, the Lord is God, the Lord is one. Blessed be his name, whose glorious kingdom is forever and ever. Well, it can be said, played, hummed, meditated upon in so many ways. Each of the 6 words in one of the 6 points of the star. But what does it really mean? You know, how I said it is, of course, how we translate it. But that's not how it would have been written in biblical Hebrew, nor how it would have been said in biblical Hebrew. Remember, we see the name of God written. We do not say it. Instead, we say Adonai, which is a word that means our Lord. Now, in the Bible, the name of God is written and would have been pronounced by biblical man. Don't forget, God introduced himself or herself in Exodus and told us his or her name was Yahweh. And that kind of gives us a clue it was a him when it was written, a third person verb meaning he who causes to be. And I think that's a way better description than Lord. And do not forget the name Israel also had a meaning. He who wrestles with God. A statement almost all of us can attest to. So here's how it would have been translated in biblical Hebrew. Hear, O you who've wrestled with God, he who causes all to be is God. He who causes all to be is the one. Now that's a testament to monotheism in any religion. Now don't forget, friends, in comparing Israel's monotheism to pagan religion, we must appreciate that the difference between 1 and many is not the same sort of thing as the difference between 2 and 3 or between 6 and 20. It's not numerical. It's a different concept altogether of what a God is. A God who is outside of nature, known through acts in history, a creator who is unseeable, unknowable, without a mate, who makes legal covenants with humans, who is one, is a revolution in religious conception. So it was different. Now this prayer, the Shema, said twice a day by those of the faith, also point to this as being the origin of tefillin, the little boxes of prayer sheets worn on the head and on the arm in the morning for early prayers. People point to the instructions to keep it between your eyes. Deuteronomy 6:8, and you shall bind them for a sign on your hand, and they shall become bands between your eyes. Well, yes, that is true. It is where the practice comes from. But that's but one interpretation. And I remind people that between their eyes is the 6th chakra, the third eye chakra, which we should try to open, and which says, I see. The wheel which brings synchronicity to the 2 hemispheres of the brain, the right's creativity and the left's logic and analytics, and which lines up inside the brain with the hypothalamus, which the Egyptians felt controlled our entire being. Yes, the 6th chakra is pretty important. Sometimes we take things too literally in the Tanakh. However, this expression is meant figuratively, meaning keep these teachings at hand, my friends. Just look at Proverbs 3:3, 6:21, and 7:3, where it talks of binding religious teachings to one's neck, one's heart, one's fingers. Remember, God splits seas, makes animals talk, makes water come from the rocks, but God does not change the human heart. Man is free to decide for himself how he will treat his fellow man, the animals, the earth, and the spirit, and how he will interpret these things. Yes, the world is sacred. So is everything in it. Express your gratitude, light a candle, make a wish. Celebrate your life and the lives of those you love. Share your feelings with them. Live free, be free, honor your freedom. Be well, be happy, be blessed. Share and honor the light, and all who live in the light continue to shine. Continue to send everybody you know goodwill and love. Pray for peace and freedom for everyone. And end the terror and hatred. Remember, friends, we are a community. We learn together, we celebrate each other, we love each other, we share this ride together, men and women equally. Let us send out love, not fear. Send out peace, harmony, good healing to all who need it. And please do learn to forgive and learn to love. Open your hearts. Honor the relationships of your life. Tell those you love that you love them. Take advantage of the time you have. Enjoy your journey. Take the twists and turns and the patterns that weave through the fabric of our lives in our effort to grow, to learn, to be, to love. So please do love. Send healing, goodwill, and love to all who need it. Share your holiness. Bless you all. Have a fantastic week, a week of love and light. For the holiday of love, a week of peace and healing for you to honor the people of your life and honor the journey you are on. And friends, keep your eyes open to what you may not be seeing, and keep your ears open and listen to the world around you. Listen. It don't really matter to me. You believe what you want to believe. You don't have to live like a refugee. No, you don't have to. Do not stop your journey. Do not stop moving towards your promised land. It is in sight. Keep on dreaming, keep on being, keep sharing, keep shining, keep teaching, keep spreading your holiness. Do not follow fear. Now, thank you all for joining me, for participating, for sharing your lives, your love, your time with me. I do appreciate it. Love you all. Look forward to seeing you all next time. Be well until then. Shabbat Shalom.